Alright guys, hope you be here. I was going through my channel, and if you notice further back in the channel, there's a video. It's one of my first videos about a 22 small game bird rifle. It's a pellet gun. I recently have been using that to great success. Lots of little varmint running around. If you're not able to have a firearm, most places you don't need a license to have a pellet gun. I have many pellet guns. One of them is a 22. I have a couple of .77s. You can get a 303 from Daystate. It's PCP, pre-charged pneumatic. It's bolt action, 10-round magazine. And I think you get like 30 shots to a tank. And it has the same hitting power as an actual 303. So yes, you could use it to hunt. That's a good option too. Yes, it's loud. I'm looking into getting one, but it's not as loud as an actual 303. The 303 British is the same round used in the Lee Enfield Ross rifle. If you're Canadian, you should know what that is. So basically the right arm to the Commonwealth during the First and Second World War was the Lee Enfield. So the 303 is a very capable round. Also, archery, that's something you guys should look into. I have a bow, I have a crossbow, all things like that, because you never know. Hey, they could take your guns, right? You never know. You could run out of ammo, right? So you got to be careful, and you got to think long term. I did a little experiment with a 177 pellet rifle. A youth model is the same power as a full-size model, right? As the adult version. It's just more compact. Here in Canada, you don't need a license for anything under 500 feet per second. So most of my pellet rifles are 495 feet per second. Now you can very easily change that to go up to 800 just by changing two pieces. I'm not suggesting you do it, but just leave that there. Yeah, so I did an experiment. A youth model has the exact same feet per second as the full-size model. Now, you know those old, some of you guys get prescriptions or antibiotics, the pill bottles? I can fit 250 rounds in a small pill bottle with room on top. Okay? 250 rounds. Okay? Yes, they're not going to take down a person. Okay, I'm not saying that don't use a pellet gun for self-defense. It's not going to work. It might work. But don't count your life on might. Because a pellet is just not enough hitting power to knock you down. Yeah, it's going to hurt. I felt one bounce back off the target and hit me, and it freaking hurt. But it's okay. Right? It's not going to stop you in your tracks. If they're determined, they're going to get you, right? So don't do that. I'm talking about small game, birds. Some of you guys, if you have snakes in the area, it's not a bad idea to have your kid carry around a pellet gun when they go in the woods. Shoot those snakes, right? Especially if they're poisonous, right? It's always good to have something on you. And you can get some pretty decent pellet pistols too. I think it's SIG just recently made one, P320. It looks like the new U.S. Army M17. Full magazine, everything like that. The CO2's in the magazine, 20 round, 495 feet per second, right? Decent for a kid to carry around. If they're going to be going out in the woods or whatever, I'll put it on their hip in a holster or something, I don't know. Like, use your discretion on that one. Plus, honestly, pellet guns are good for just teaching people marksmanship. That's how I learned how to shoot. A pretty good shot. So it teaches you all the same fundamentals. You just have to scale them up. Okay? And if you can be good with a pellet gun, you can be good with any rifle. I've made shots out to 1,000 meters, no problem. Okay? Not with a pellet gun. Before so many comments, there's no way you do that with a pellet gun. No, there's not. It's going to drop too fast. And it's going to veer off and all that. Okay? You're not making a shot out that far. Even 500 feet, it's questionable. I would honestly say anything past, with a 177, anything past 200 feet, about that, 200 feet, I wouldn't bother taking the shot because you're going to lose all your inertia, right? A 22, maybe 250-ish. And there's lots of other calibers of pellet rifles. There's 25, 30, I think there's a 50 cal. That one's insane. The size of the pellet's like your thumb. My friend has one of those. I think it's called the Dragon Fire. Yeah, oh, it's insane, that thing. Day State, if you guys really want a nice air rifle, one that's extremely reliable and well built, look in Day State. The Air Wolf and the Air Ranger, the Wolverine is the 303 that I was talking about earlier. They're all, well, some of them come packaged with scopes. Some of them have iron sights. They're just insanely well built. They're super smooth. I had the privilege of shooting one a couple of weeks ago, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Very nice air rifle. So they're also a lot quieter to hunt with. Okay, if you don't want everyone knowing that, hey, this guy's out here, right? And you go and you fire off a 308. Guess what? Everyone's going to know you're there for about 10 kilometers, if not more, depending on where you're shooting, because shit echoes. Okay? Even at 22, right? Suppressors are illegal here in Canada, so we can't use them. So the report on firearms is still allowed. So taking that out of the equation, if you suppress it, obviously it's going to be a lot quieter. But yeah, even at 22, the sound's going to travel a fair amount of way. Okay? Especially if you live in a valley or in an open field, it'll just echo. Okay? So, I personally like to start people off on pellet rifles, get them used to it, get them used to carrying it, and then creep into a 22 rifle. And then from there, 223, because there's honestly not much difference in recoil. 223 is really a pop gun. I'm not a fan of it, but ammo's everywhere. Police use it, military use it, so if you needed ammo, there it is. It's also a lot lighter to carry over distance. Okay? That's why they switched. And I've seen a lot of people on YouTube talk about 223 and how superior it is. And yes, it's a good round. Yes, it's a reliable round. Yes, it has stopping power. However, you have to remember when those rifles were made, okay, the standard was to inflict casualties, okay, not to take people out, not to drop people. That's why in the United States they went away from the M14, and here in Canada the FN, FNFAL, C1 and C2. They went away from that big rifle because it was so heavy, and they weren't getting the engagements at distance, right? Because you got to remember, Vietnam just ended. You're looking at jungle warfare. You need something light to travel through the jungle, okay? So personally, I like a bigger round. That's just my preference. It's more versatile. Up here we do have bears and a fair amount of them. 223 is just going to piss it off. And okay, yeah, the argument can be made for shot placement, but trust me, it takes a lot to take down a bear. You can just go on YouTube and watch them hunting grizzlies and stuff like that, so no thank you. Black bear is obviously a lot smaller, but still, I'm not going to risk my life just because of it being light. That's my main concern, is wildlife. And a moose, everyone's worried about bears. Trust me, I've been charged by a moose. No thank you. No. A bear, I've come face to face with a bear, no problem. Okay? It make a little bit of noise, the thing will run away, whatever. Yes, it was a black bear, but still. Okay, it was a male. Makes noise, it'll go away. They're just as afraid of you as you are of them. Okay, just remember that. Unless you walk up on it and then it wants to have a little go with you, that's a different story. So a moose, yeah, it's not going to take nicely to you being in its territory. It will charge you. It won't even think twice about it. And they're a lot bigger than a bear. If you've never seen a moose, so yeah, okay, not something to mess around with. That's why I prefer a bigger round. Okay, so that's just a thought on some air rifles and use philosophy and what I prefer. OPB,